Hello guys, it is that panda guy and I'm here with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the Region 13 drama. I know this isn't something I normally do, but I thought this might be an interesting video and you guys might enjoy this. And I also want to make this a learning experience for people who are going to war or fight, right? Because I feel like there were so many mistakes that I spotted here, and it hurt me. It hurt me physically, it hurt me mentally, and I just wanted to go over them so people can learn a little bit more from their mistakes to do better and war themselves. Alright guys, so first off I want to say that I am neutral here. I am not going to be taking sides specifically, but I will be explaining the intruder side, I guess you can call it, the people who are attacking and kind of moving in, like RPH, all of them building their way in. So from what I know, this is over cities and stuff that were supposed to be promised, that were never given, all that kind of stuff, and it was pretty weird because it just sounded like there were a lot of lies, or at least that's what I've been told, and then the other side told me that they're just being framed as bad guys. So that is basically the gist of it. I mean, you can also want to say real quick that they had Jaden defending on the first rally, and uh it was so bad. It was so bad. The trades were terrible, and this is what you do not defend with Jaden. Do not defend with Jaden. I wouldn't rally with Jaden. I would not fight with Jaden as my first hero. No bueno. But yeah, overall, it seems like at least towards the region, DOD had been considered liars and deceitful, and that's basically how it went. I will say that both sides did do an amazing job at making sure the rally stayed full and the building, because if you guys don't know, when a building is in the middle of constructing, you can't send multiple squads as if the building, like, compared to if the building is already down where you can send multiple squads. So these people had to keep recalling and sending a fresh batch of troops into the thing. You can't send multiple marches of from the same person into that. I also want to mention that off the bat, when they had Jaden defending, they also had a 13 million player holding that, and that was just disgusting, right? Because when you really consider 30 million player, right, who's basically rallying this, compared to the 13 million player, you gotta consider the tech, right? And the person who's garrisoning or holding it as the garrison captain is gonna have their heroes, their technology, all that's gonna be affecting the garrison. So I do want to make it known that you have to be really mindful of that. They also had a 20 million dude holding it at this point, where it was Peter for, well, basically the rest of the rallies just holding it. And that was like one of the worst heroes you could have chosen. I mean, the best thing about Peter is the fact that he probably dragged the battle out longer, and that did help in making sure they built for a longer period of time. But when you really think about it, it would have been better if they sent Regro or something. And it was also a 20 million player holding. And I want to kind of say above them is a 27 million player. And you also see this counter rally on their rally getting swarmed. And one, that was not a good choice by them to swarm it, because Peter was perfect for them to send out for this like counter rally. I also want to mention they had Martin as a secondary, which I think in this case works, but if they had Lewis or something who could do circular AoE, maybe like max out, or just any AoE commander, it could have hurt like a lot towards the swarmers. But I want to just keep talking about the fact that these guys garrison were really poorly. The people who were garrisoning, it was the Peter with 20 million might, the player who was holding it, where there was a 27 million who constantly kept rallying the rally. It was like a counter rally, right? But you really should have been having the 27 million player as garrison captain, because his technology is better. I'm assuming his Regro or whatever defensive captain he could have sent would have been better. It was really terrible. I will say that these guys started taking worse trades, and the biggest problem about the trades they started taking was because of the attackers, right? Like who were attacking the fort, not the like people going in. But their trades started getting worse. And I think one big reason was that the rallies were so bad, because they couldn't keep it full. I don't think they kept the rally topped off, and most of the time I'm pretty sure the rally was low. Just from looking at the rally itself, you could see there were not many troops in the thing, it seemed like. Maybe I'm wrong, but it didn't seem like they kept the rally topped off. And at that point, you just want to reset the rally. You want to make sure it's a fresh one. You don't want to keep this counter rally hitting you. And swarming it was so bad. They should have been like counter rallying the counter rally instead, because swarming it just gave them such bad trades, and they just filled their hospital, and it really exhausted them in the long ability in this battle, right? Like, it kept them in such a bad position. And like I was saying, that 27 million player really should have been the one as garrison captain. Like, it was so bad to have the other dude holding it, especially with the Peter. It just didn't make much sense to me. But I will say these guys did do a good job at making sure the rally itself didn't drop. Like even though it was low, I feel like most of the time they didn't let it drop for like 30 minutes. I feel like this rally went on for like 30 minutes to an hour. Like that was like a really long rally. And these counter rallies were really well too. Like when you consider they were getting swarmed, they had so many reinforcements just keeping that thing alive. And I think everybody had a part to play. You also got to consider the 3 or 4 alliances that were hitting from the other sides. And that makes such a big impact because the problem here is DOD or DOD, right? These guys were trying to take down this fort as soon as possible. If they break if they win on the fort once, this thing drops. Like it doesn't build. It just it's gone. It poofs, right? And the biggest issue here is they're so focused on this that they can't really spread their forces out to the other enemies that are sieging their other towers, and basically they're getting hit from 3 sides, and eventually these guys give up on this side. They're like, this is a lost cause. At least this is what I'm assuming because of how they just left, but they probably were like, this is a lost cause, we're gonna go defend the other areas. And I mean, it did work for the longest time because DPH or whatever it was, I can't really remember their tag, they ended up getting held off, but I mean, they were doing an amazing job, especially while they were distracted over here, and they kind of had their forces split trying to just, I guess, be durable on the towers. I feel like they weren't defending the other towers as well, and that's obviously because they were heavily over here trying to keep these rallies full, trying to keep this going on. And I think they really screwed themselves by swarming this Peters because basically they couldn't heal properly. They probably were in a really bad like situation because they just filled their hospitals trying to swarm it. And I mean, Peter was so good of an option to counter rally, right? Because Peter is so hard to swarm compared to like Hank, where he might be more of a DPS, but he's way easier to swarm, right? Peter was such a good option. I really do think that if you're going to be counter rallying, especially when they have field control like this, Peter would be such an amazing option. You kind of see the trades too. I think I showed it in a report already, or maybe I do show a report, but just the trades were kind of insane on the rally because you kind of see how it gets swarmed. And I think I go through the reports of that. And also, they had a counter rally on the counter rally and they canceled it, which was so smart by the leader of the rally to just cancel that and then just reset. I mean, it wouldn't have really been favorable if they started just taking another rally on their rally on the rally, you know? But yeah, I will say that these other people hitting from the other sides really probably stretched them even more thin, and that was the biggest issue here. And I mean, they couldn't really do much, and they ended up just getting overwhelmed and giving up eventually, it seems. So, just rough, but yeah. Near the end, they finally do put Raygro on the thing, and that's because I was talking to them, and I was like, bro, what are y'all doing? Put Raygro up! And I mean, they did it, and there was a pretty good report, but I don't know. I feel like it took too long, and they took way worse trades than before. Like, I hope people learn from this video just to have their stronger players holding as well, because the technology really matters. Like the fact, like even if you're gonna use Raygro on the fort, right? It's definitely way better that you do it. Oh yeah, and this is the swarm, by the way. Like you guys can see how positive the trades were for the rally. It was like a 1 to 2 most of the time, 1 to 3 trade. It was just so good for them, even more at times. And I just don't think it was smart for them to swarm the rally. Like I mean, I do understand, and I might have been in the same situation, but then I think that made it harder for them to fill their rally, and they should have just kept their rally full, or they should have been resetting their rally. It was just not. It was not optimal. And I mean, you guys can kind of see here from the swarm that the trades were so negative. I mean, it just wasn't. It wasn't the move, and I really think it was regretful for them to swarm, and they kind of put themselves out of commission in the fight because of this, and it made it hard to keep the rally full. And that's the reason. Like that's the biggest issue, right? Like they couldn't keep the rally full probably. Like the attackers on the fort because of this, and they had to keep. They basically filled their hospitals full of these troops, and they weren't able to just keep reinforcing. Whereas, let's say, I noticed their rally looked like it was always low. So like, I wouldn't have just kept reinforcing with like, let's say, one march at a time when the rally's about to drop compared to a full rally. Like you need to keep the rally topped off. And at that point, they should have just reset the rally. They should have just dropped it and moved on, or just kept rallying it. Right? Like it just wasn't. It wasn't ideal, and I didn't like looking at the rally being so low, and that's why they started taking really, really bad trades. And I show it in a report soon, but you guys see when they lose that their trades were just disgusting. Like and then they get counter rallied again, and you guys see their troops get sent back soon. And I mean, like you guys see how low this rally is. Like you can see how small it is compared to the other rally. Like they should have just canceled. They should have canceled and just kept running it and just taking good trades over, I don't know, taking these bad trades. Definitely should have had a better Garrison captain, but it could have been worse as well. I feel like just having Raygro would have made the trades way better. I also want to mention when talking about this that when you're in a defensive standpoint, defending like a 4 or a flag is way more optimal, because compared to the attackers who have, I don't know if you get some injured, I forget, but let's say the attackers lose 900,000 on a fort, right? Attacking it. The defenders can be taking negative trades, maybe having 700,000 deads and like 500,000 injured. And in the case of that, it's like, okay, well, they lost more, but did they really? Like, at least they don't have to retrain these troops, whereas we have 900,000 permanent dead, they have 700,000, permanent dead, and then 500,000 heal. Although they have to heal that, they're taking better trades, and they don't have to just retrain all these troops. So I feel like defensive standpoint, they could have been way better off. They could have been taking insane trades. But I will say everybody did a good job at defending properly. They kept the rallies full. I mean, the other rallies. I don't know about the main rally, but it still was pretty cool to watch. And I think that everybody could learn from this. Yeah, you guys see the trades right here. 1.6 million deads compared to 900,000. Like, oh my gosh, dude. Those trades were so bad, and the reason is they literally were on their last leg and just kept filling right when it was about to fall apart, right? And then you're taking really bad trades because it's more like, let's say 200,000 troops versus 1 million in the fort, right? Like, and those trades just aren't optimal. Like, it wasn't good. And you guys kind of see them back off soon. They jump over to DPH and just hold them off. And I mean, that was probably the best option they could have done, because there was no way they were defending over here. And it was just better that they jumped to the other side and kind of forced them off. I mean, they were just getting smacked around on every end. Like, they had every war front just smackdown. But you guys see here, they finally defended with Raygro when they got rallied once, and the trades were just insane. So yeah, just should have been doing that from the start. I also want to mention that this dude right here getting beat into a pulp, he has the profile picture from the same artist that I take mine from. So it was pretty cool to look at. I really just enjoyed looking at that. I was like, that's pretty neat. But yeah, I mean, you guys see right here, I think soon I'm gonna show you guys that they ended up fighting on this front. And like, yeah, you guys see them porting all over here and just holding their marches off. And this was probably the best they could have done. There wasn't really much in the case of DOD. I mean, they did make a lot of mistakes, but I don't think it was too bad compared to what could have been done to make it worse. And yeah, I mean, I woke up and they basically had been pushed out. Like, they had Metro taken from them. They had a kind of a double rally here. You see the Peter rally tank really fast off the bat, and that kind of goes to show that they were just taking really worse trades off the start, and they should have probably timed those rallies together better, but it wasn't too bad. They still got a double rally off, and I mean, I think it would have been awesome if they had an AoE hero, area of effect, in the Metro, because they would have been smacking so many of these rallies, right? Like, or so many of these marches around them. But yeah, I mean, this video is about to end. They do swarm here. I don't know how smart that was, but it was still pretty cool to see. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really do. I'm a neutral player here, right? I don't want nobody from Region 13 hating me, but I do hope you guys enjoyed. I just wanted to entertain you guys and know it was out of my normal commentary. And I do enjoy, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate that. And, it makes my day, and I hope I make your day with this content, So thank you guys for watching, and peace out for the most part. You guys have a good day.